Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning in again today. I'm here to do a quick review on the Covergirl Natureluxe foundation. This is one that was highly requested by a lot of you guys, and I'm so sorry that it's taken me so long to do this. I just really wanted to give it some time to test it out, and sometimes my initial reactions on foundations are sort of incorrect, so I just wanted to make sure that my opinions were totally solidified before I started chatting about this foundation. So this is a foundation that has recently come out in the last couple months with Taylor Swift on all the advertisements. It's marketed as a somewhat natural product, has natural ingredients in it, and provides a flawless, luxurious coverage with a barely there feel. And it's, called a, what is it? Liquid silk foundation. That's how they describe it. So it is a liquid foundation, comes in a squeezy tube like this, but in my experience I found it to be almost a little bit more of a cream. It is a liquid, but it's not a runny liquid, it's not a thin liquid by any means. It's very thick, creamy liquid. It provides light to medium coverage and a sort of semi-matte natural finish. So it's not going to look very powdery, very matte, but it's not going to dry like very shiny or very dewy or anything like that. It does have this nice kind of semi-matte finish that looks really healthy and sort of gets away all the shine, but that also still makes your skin look like it's glowing sort of from within. In my experience, I've found that this is not a long-wear foundation by any means. I mean, it doesn't claim to be, but I would say that this product lasts about 6 to 8 hours without touch-up. It has an interesting scent. It sort of has this cucumbery smell, and I think that's because it contains cucumber water. Personally, I'm not a fan of that because I don't really like it when my foundations smell like anything. So I would prefer this foundation to just not have a scent, but that's just my personal opinion. If you like the smell of cucumber, that's great, but for me, it just reminds me of Nair. I don't know if you guys ever use like the cucumber smelling Nair, but that has sort of ruined my perception of cucumber smelling things. So when I smell this, it just reminds me of like my bad experiences with Nair in middle school. So anyway, that's just a rant, but it, does contain some natural ingredients. As I mentioned, it contains jojoba extract, cucumber water, and I think that might be it. Some kind of rose, I think, rose something. But it's not an all-natural formula, so it does have synthetic ingredients in here. It does probably, I think, have parabens. It doesn't say paraben-free. So that's just something to sort of keep in mind when you're using it. Just because it's marketed as like a natural product doesn't mean that it's like a vegan product or anything like that. So I don't know exactly what's in here. If you're interested, check out the ingredient list. But you can definitely, tell that there's some weird long names in there, so it's not going to be completely 100% all natural. Just putting that out there. So yeah, like I said, I'm wearing it today, so this can kind of give you an idea of what the finish is like. It is a little bit dewy, luminescent glow, but, still kind of keeps the face looking really fresh. It is light to medium coverage, so this isn't going to be a full coverage foundation. So if you're the kind of person who really needs that extra concealing for like acne scarring, discoloration, anything like that, blemishes, this probably won't do that great of a job covering it up. It's really just kind of meant to even out your skin tone, conceal any redness, any kind of, minor imperfections that you have, but it's not going to really, cover up everything. So I think you could partner this with a good concealer and just use the concealer in areas that you need it, and it would provide a really nice finish. I really like this product because it's like a thicker, almost mousse-like consistency. I'm going to show you what it looks like here. It's, not runny by any means. See, it's not really moving. It kind of stands up on its own. So my favorite way to apply this has been with my Sigma F80. Because it is sort of a thicker formula, it doesn't work with a lot of brushes. Like, I didn't really enjoy it with just a traditional foundation brush, and I also didn't enjoy it with the Sephora number 55. This brush just didn't do a good job of like picking up the product and like blending it well. It almost just like got stuck in the brush because it is so thick. So I would suggest, if you're going to use this foundation, I would really highly suggest using a flat top synthetic brush like the Sigma F80 or like the e.l.f. buffer brush. These two brushes are really, I think, the best brushes to apply this. You can also apply it, you know, using your hands. It's really up to you. I'm going to show you the color that I got right here. I just swatched it right there. And it is called 320. What is the color? 320. Aspen. So that's the fourth from the lightest shade. And I'm about NW20 from MAC, but I have more of a neutral undertone, so I tried to go for one that wasn't too yellow and wasn't too pink, and I think Aspen is a good match for me. I did find, though, that a lot of the lighter shades below this one were pink undertoned, so just be aware of that. If you have fair skin and you don't have a pink undertone, just really be careful when you're picking your shade, because I found a lot of the lighter shades were very pink based, so that's just something you might want to keep in mind. Overall, I really like the foundation. I would recommend it for anyone from normal to oily skin. I don't know about really dry skin. If you have really dry skin and you've used this, let me know. It is moisturizing, but it's not like overly moisturizing. Like, I don't feel like my skin is like glistening when I'm wearing it. I have normal to oily skin, but I mean, this does have definitely a little bit of like a dewy, not dewy, but like a natural finish. It starts out sort of like a semi-matte, and then throughout the day it gets a little bit more of a natural finish, especially if you have oily skin. You will find that, you know, your oily skin is going to sort of break down the product a little bit. I mean, that's just to be expected. But in my experience, this product has lasted me about 6 to 8 hours without touch-up. But I definitely think, since I like more of a matte look, I would like to repowder this probably within 6 to 8 hours, or blot or something, just because it is a little bit more of a luminous, natural finish. Also, I'd like to point out, I don't think that this foundation is really buildable. I think it's somewhat buildable to a certain extent. You know, you could get light to medium coverage out of this foundation, but you'll never get really that full coverage. So if you want a really sheer light coverage, you could, you know, just use a little bit of this product. If you want a little bit more, you could build it up a little bit more to that medium coverage level, but you're never going to be able to build it out, you know, to a full coverage foundation level. So just keep that in mind. You know, if you just keep building it, it'll start looking a little bit cakey, so you don't want to over apply too much product. Another thing that I noticed is I was wearing this one day, and then I went to go touch up and just added some more foundation over what I was already wearing, and I found it looked really kind of cakey. So I would just caution you, if you're the kind of person that, you know, touches up your makeup sporadically throughout the day. You know, some foundations you can do that with, and then other ones you really can't. So in my experience, this foundation is not the kind of foundation you want to reapply or like put more product, you know, over later, because it has that sort of thick consistency. It really just kind of looks cakey on the face. But I think it's a beautiful foundation. I really love the natural glow that it gives me while also kind of keeping my face oil free. It really is lightweight, which is like, I think, the most amazing part about it, and it's so smooth. Like, they call it liquid silk, and I think that's a really accurate description. It's very smooth, very silky, but not greasy by any means. Nothing greasy, nothing slippery, but, you know, very soft, very smooth, very lightweight. So I think for a drugstore foundation, this is really high quality. It's a little pricey for a drugstore foundation. It runs between $11.99 and $13.99, but try to check it out at like Target or Walmart, where prices are a little bit lower. I think it's a really great foundation, really cool packaging, good shade selection. There's 14 shades overall, so hopefully you'll be able to find a match, and hopefully you'll be able to find a display with some testers if possible. The only downside of this foundation for me has been the smell, and then also the longevity. It's just not very long wearing, but I think I'll just, you know, reserve this foundation for days when I don't need my makeup to be fresh for, you know, the entire day. Just wear it, you know, when I'm running errands or on the weekends, or, you know, when I'm going out or whatever. But it's a really pretty foundation. If you've never used a liquid foundation before and you're sort of looking for something to ease your way into it, I would definitely suggest checking out the Natureluxe. I think this is a foundation that sort of is just a step up in coverage level from a tinted moisturizer. If you don't like those really thick, heavy, long wear foundations, you want more of just like a healthy, even out your skin tone, give you a nice glow, product, I think that the Natureluxe would be perfect for you. It's not a scary product. It's not a hard product to use. It's real easy, pretty affordable, really accessible. So I like the foundation a lot. If you guys have any other questions, if there's anything else I forgot to mention in this video, just leave me a comment below. And thanks again so much for watching. Make it a great day. Bye, guys.